All right, guys, welcome to our channel and another product video. If you are a GR Corolla owner or a standard Corolla owner and you're tired of your stereo system sounding bad, we have the solutions for you. Regardless of if you have a GR Corolla, a standard Corolla, if it's JBL or non-JBL. From 2019 to 25, we have a solution that'll work in that Corolla platform. In this video, we will go over the products that we have for the JBL equipped Corollas or GR Corollas. We'll have a separate video for the non-JBL system. So if you have a non-JBL Corolla, just refer to that other video to get information on what products we have for that. Starting off with our system is 100% plug and play. It is ready to go right out of the box. All you have to do is take out your factory speakers, plug these guys in, run a couple wires, plug your amplifier in, and you're done. You will not have to cut any wires, strip any wires, drill anything, tap anything, modify any panels. Everything will drop right into that vehicle. You won't even have to cut a wire that comes with our kit or strip a wire that comes with our kit. Everything is set up ready to go for you. You won't even have to make any tuning adjustments. It is pre-tuned, pre-calibrated for the Corolla, for the speakers that come with the kit. It's literally as simple as it can get to get you a higher end professional aftermarket audio system installed in your Corolla. One of the negatives with the Corolla, especially with the JBL, is just the sound is bad. The biggest complaints that we get from JBL, or most Corolla, but JBL specifically, is the rear speakers are really quiet compared to the front, or they don't sound the same as the front does. My sound stage is just in front of me and it sounds really hollow and tinny and just kind of anemic sounding. That's all due to that JBL amplifier, the way that it's tuned and the way that they kind of did the processing on it. It's just not a very good sounding system. So with these DSP amplifiers, we have the capability to take that signal from that JBL amplifier, feed it into this DSP, and we can fix all of those issues. So that JBL system has a lot of all-pass filtering, crossovers, EQing, time alignment. There's a lot of things that are baked into that JBL amp that you can't change by just changing some settings on your head unit. So we have to do that after it's outputted from that amplifier, which we can do with the DSP software in here. So we can make all those corrections and have a good flat signal that we can now tune from. We'll get a good flat signal that's going to be equivalent to what you would get out of an aftermarket head unit. In the Corolla, you just can't really change out the head unit easily. It is possible, but you will lose a lot of functionality from the vehicle, so a lot of people don't want to lose that. So you're stuck having to keep that factory head unit, and we need to integrate into that somehow. And again, that's where these DSP amplifiers really come into play, because we need something that's going to allow us to fix all of the issues that that audio system has. You can't just get a cheap line output converter, even a good one like an audio control piece, and use that, because it's not going to fix all of those issues. You need a true DSP to do that. Something that's really designed for OEM integration, which is what is in these Audison Forza amplifiers. So that is why we use these products in our kits. It gives us all of that flexibility and all of that capability to fix all of the issues that that JBL system has. So we take that signal from that JBL amp, feed it into here again, do all of our corrections, good flat signal. From there, we can tune the output section of it, which is what you're going to hear. So we tune it to the acoustics of the GR Corolla or Corolla cabin, and then we also tune it for the specific speakers that are coming in that kit. So whichever speaker option you decide to go with, it'll come pre-tuned for those speakers. Another thing that we do with these systems is we give each speaker its own channel of power. If you're familiar with aftermarket car audio and car audio speaker kits, usually you'll get a mid-bass driver and a set of tweeters, or maybe in a three-way system like this, you'll get the mid-range, and the tweeter. Normally what will also come with that is a passive crossover network. And what this is a big filter box, basically. You take a channel from your amplifier, you feed it into here, and then this will distribute signal to each speaker individually. What you're doing at that point is you're taking that single channel, just say 100 watts, feeding it into here. Now you're distributing 100 watts to 3 speakers, which isn't bad, but that's just what's going to happen. You're going to split that power up. And then you're also not going to have control over each speaker individually, because you're just using one channel into this. So when you make an adjustment to that single channel, you're adjusting all three speakers. So you're not really getting the full benefit of having those speakers by using a passive crossover. So we ditch this, throw that out the window. The DSP amplifiers that we use are multi-channel. So in our, say our level 1 kit, this guy here, this is a 8-channel DSP amplifier with 14 channels of DSP capability. So 8 channels gives us the capability to power each speaker individually. So in the JBL Corolla, you have 6 speakers up front, you have 2 speakers in the rear, you have 8 speakers. Each speaker will get its own channel of power. What that gives us is 65 watts for each speaker. You may say, well, 65 watts doesn't sound like a lot of power. But keep in mind, you're giving each speaker 65 watts versus taking, say, 100 watts and splitting that between 3 speakers. So you're going to get a lot more power out of this. You're also going to get a lot more tuning capability. It gives us the option to tune each speaker individually. We can set time alignments individually. We can EQ individually, crossover individually. It's just going to result in more dynamics, better headroom, a louder system, a better sounding system, a lot better sound stage. You're just all around going to get a better sounding system by being able to adjust each speaker individually. You don't really get that with most aftermarket systems unless they're really set up that way and set up deliberately that way. And that's what we give you right out of the box with our kits. Our kits are also going to come with a multifunction control knob. So this knob right here will give you capability to do preset selection. So we do have a few different presets that we send out built into these DSP amps. So you can select those different presets, and you also have a subwoofer volume control directly from this knob. So that is included in the kit. It's got some nice LEDs and everything that lights up when it is powered on. So you do have that multifunction control knob with that, regardless of which system you decide to go with. So from there, we can take a look at the 2 different options that we have. So we kind of briefly went over this guy here, which is our level 1, that's the 8-channel. And then we have our level 2, which is a 12-channel. So if we shift back over here to our 8-channel, again, 8 channels of power to power all 8 speakers. But now you say, well, I want to add a subwoofer. Does it come with a subwoofer? Yes, you can get it with a subwoofer. Because it only has 8 channels of power, that's all taken up by those speakers, but it has additional DSP output channels. So what we do with our level 1 kit is we have either the Audison 8 or the Audison 10 powered enclosure. So these guys will have an amplifier built into it. We're going to take those extra DSP output channels. So we have that audio signal that's already processed. That's going to come out of that. It'll come with a harness that'll plug directly into this guy. And then that will give you that subwoofer with that quote unquote second amplifier that's built into this enclosure. And then you'll have a complete system. One of the big reasons why we do our level 1 that way is we designed it to be modular and easily upgradable or expandable. So if you say, I don't want to spend all of the money up front to do a complete system at one time. I want to do it in steps. How can I do it in steps? Cool. You can do the speaker upgrade kit first. You can install your speaker kit front and rear, use the factory JBL amplifier, still get an upgrade in sound, still get an upgrade in performance. And then maybe you say, I kind of want to add some bass now. Okay, cool. You can add our powered subwoofer kit. You can do it as a standalone. You can add that in. You'll have bass. You'll have better sounding speakers up front. And when you're ready to complete your system and just round it all out, then you can get that DSP amplifier, hook it up. Everything will plug directly into there. And then you'll have a complete system without having to buy something and maybe take a portion of it out because you want to upgrade now or change things around. You can literally do this in steps and not be punished for buying it in pieces rather than just doing it all at once. If you do decide you want to do it all at once, you can definitely do that. Powered subwoofer, 8-channel amp, all your speakers, everything ready to go. You do your install one time. You can do it that way. You can also step up to our level 2 kit if you wanted to do an all-in-one, one-time kind of system. The big difference between the level 1 and the level 2 is you have a 12-channel amplifier here. So this 12-channel amplifier is going to give us power for all of our speakers. So all 8 speakers in the vehicle, plus your subwoofer, all powered by one amplifier. So you're not going to have a built-in amp in this enclosure. It's just going to be an enclosure with a subwoofer in it. So some people ask, well, why would I do it that way and not that way? Is this better? It's not really a matter of better than the other. It's really a matter of what you're looking for as a consumer. If you want that all-in-one solution that's ready to go right out of the box with the cleanest install possible, and maybe you want a little bit of flexibility on maybe changing out a subwoofer down the road, then the level 2 is definitely the way to go. You'll have your subwoofer power built into this amplifier, as well as all the power for all 8 speakers. We set it up so that the harness plugs directly into the subwoofer enclosure. But if you decide down the road, you're like, oh, you know what, I really like it, but maybe I want to try a different sub. Some of us audio guys like to try different speakers. You'll have that ability to try out different speakers because the power for it is already built in this amplifier. Versus, say, the level 1. If you did the level 1 kit and you're like, oh, you know what, I want to do a different subwoofer, you would need another amp, another sub, and another enclosure, because this has the amp built in it. If you take that out to put a different sub in, you would lose that amplifier. You would obviously lose the sub and the enclosure. So the expandability on the level 1, as far as changing out subs and whatnot, wouldn't be as simple as the level 2. Also, the level 2 is just a cleaner install because you're just installing 1 amp versus the level 1 where you have technically a second amp built into this. So you will have a second harness that needs to get installed. It's not hard. It's just a little bit of extra wiring and another amplifier. So again, it just really comes down to preference, what solution you prefer. Power rating wise, they give you both the same power. They're about 65 watts per speaker. And then for the subwoofer output, we have about 400 watts to power a subwoofer. So level 1 or level 2, you can do an 8-inch or a 10-inch, regardless of powered or non-powered. They'll both be the same. The enclosures themselves also are very slim enclosures. So it is a very slim enclosure. We do send these out with cutout templates. So we do have a lot of customers that want to put it under the floor. And this is going to be more specific for the GR Corollas. As far as the enclosures are concerned, they are very shallow enclosures. They're very slim. They're not very big in size. So that's basically the size of the enclosure here. We ship these out with a cutout template as well. And this is going to be for the GR Corolla. It's not going to be the same in the standard Corolla, but this is for the GR Corolla. Underneath that trunk floor, you do have a big foam piece. And a lot of customers say, I want to put my speaker under the floor in the foam. I want to cut it out. Maybe you're not quite sure where to make the cuts, how to do the cutting. So we give you a cutout template as well that will trace that out. And then you can cut out your foam so these enclosures will fit under the floor, completely out of the way. You'll never have to worry about it. They also come with legs that will screw in to the corners of the enclosure. You can see there's little tabs here. These pop out. There's a leg that mounts to it. And that allows you to actually install the enclosure in what we would consider a down firing orientation. So they would sit on your floor like this. For the guys that don't want to cut their foam, but they're willing to have a small enclosure in the trunk, you would basically put those legs on, set it on your floor like this. And the legs are only about an inch or inch and a half tall. So the enclosure itself only sits up a total of maybe about 6 inches in height. So you don't lose a lot of height. You don't really lose a lot of floor space because you can still put things on the enclosure. You can still put things around the enclosure. So you still have a lot of flexibility even if you decide to just put it on the floor. And the enclosures are also very easy to remove. So whether you have the level 1 with the powered enclosure or the level 2 with the non-powered enclosure, they're all gonna have Molex connectors that you just unplug and remove. If you've ever had a subwoofer before and you've had to strip the wire and push the terminal to put it in that terminal cup, if you ever take the speaker box out and you have those 2 bare wires, people always tell you to cover them up so they don't touch each other. But with our enclosures, it has a Molex connector, so it'll just plug right in. If you ever take the enclosure out, you just unplug that connector. You'll never have to worry about bare wires touching each other or shorting out your amp. So it's a very easy solution, very easy to just unplug and take out if you need the space for those track day guys that I want to put another set of wheels and tires, or I need some tools and whatnot. Unplug it, take it out, and you're good to go. And our kit comes with all of the wiring that you're going to need to do your install. So you're going to have a main power harness with a fuse holder mounting bracket, and the hardware to mount it. You don't have to drill anything to mount this. There's already a spot for it in the Corolla. Just bolt that guy in and you're good to go for the GR Corolla. The standard Corolla is going to be a little bit different, but you will still get that fuse holder and a bracket and whatnot. So you have your power harness, you're going to have your ground cable. All of these are also labeled, so it'll be labeled power and ground, so you know where they go on the amplifier, where you hook them up. We use wire ferrules on the end so that you don't have to strip the wire, make it bare, shove it in the amp and screw it down. All you have to do is put this in the amp and tighten it down. So again, you don't have to strip any wires or anything there. You're going to have your tweeter harness extension, and then you're going to have your main harness. So depending on the level system that you have, harness might be slightly different, but we do have our JBL T harness here that will allow you to plug in at the JBL amp. And then we have all of our Audison connectors here that will plug right into the amp. So it's a very easy install. Everything is ready to go right out of the box with everything that you need. You also get some zip ties included in the kit just to make your install a little bit cleaner. Again, everything is labeled. Everything is basically pre-terminated. Again, just plug everything in, you're set. All right, so from here, we can take a look at the speaker options for these kits. So we use Morel for all of our speaker kits. For this specific system, we use either the Morel Maximo 603 for the front speakers, or you can upgrade to the Morel Hybrid 63 three-way speakers for the front. The rears are going to utilize Maximo Ultra 602 coaxials. Regardless of what front speaker option you go with, that will be your rear speaker option. So as far as the speaker kits, these are also 100% plug and play. All of the mounts we 3D print in-house, so we 3D print them specifically for this vehicle. It's not a universal speaker mount that you get on Amazon or Crutchfield or wherever. It is made specific for the Corolla. It's made to sit in the exact same orientation that the factory speaker sits. The plug is the factory Toyota OEM connector. This sits in the exact same position as the factory one as well, so everything's going to line up exactly the way it should. The connector is also pressed into our mount. It's not a pigtail that just dangles and flaps around. So you have a full one-piece mount with your speaker ready to go. All you have to do is screw it down, plug it in, and you're set. We also do have foam gasketing on the front to be basically just like the factory speakers. The factory speakers have a gasket on the front that couples to the door panel. So when you take your door panel off and you look behind there, you're going to see a plastic ring right by that speaker grill. And that ring is designed to press into the gasket on the front of the speaker. And what that does is that keeps all of the energy from this speaker firing directly out of the grill. Versus, say, not having a gasket, maybe having a speaker that sits a little further back from the door panel. You have a big gap where all that energy can escape and bleed into the door panels, bleed into the door, just cause a lot of unwanted rattle, resonance, and it's gonna not give you the best sound that you can possibly get. We want to give you the best possibility to make your system perform the way it should. So we put the gaskets on the front. We also have gaskets on the rear of the speaker so that this seals to the door when you install it, when you mount it down. The gasket's going to help it seal. It's going to insulate as well, so that plastic mount is not going to rattle against the metal door. That's kind of what you would get with a cheaper mount that you buy again on Amazon or whatnot. You're just going to have a thin plastic mount that's going to kind of shake around, rattle, vibrate on your door. So we want to give you a super solid mount that, again, we 3D print in-house out of ABS. So we know it's going to be super solid. As far as the dash speakers, the mid-ranges, the 2.5-inch wideband mid-range, these mounts, again, we also 3D print in-house. We do have the gasket, so everything seals up nice in the dash. Here we do have a slight pigtail on here. All of our connections to our speakers are soldered. We don't have plastic crimp connectors that are crimped on and then you slide them onto the speaker terminals. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a high failure rate in that. A lot of times you'll do it, you'll hook it up, a couple days later, a week later, a month later, well, my speaker stopped playing. So you take everything apart and you find that one of those connectors slipped loose. Well, we don't want that to happen. So we solder all of our connections directly onto our speakers. That way you'll never have that failure. On the speakers that we do have a slight pigtail, we also include a foam gasket pad that will wrap around these connectors once you plug them in. So that foam pad is going to help insulate this plastic from rattling around in the dash or the A-pillar. So we want to give you the parts to make you as successful as possible, to give you a true high-end audio install that you can do at home yourself, and just give you an extra peace of mind when you're doing your install. When we go over to the tweeters, we do have our silk dome tweeters. These guys will fit in that factory location in the A-pillar. We also 3D print a tweeter retaining clip. So these guys aren't like the factory tweeter where it mounts specifically in there with plastic ears and whatnot. So we have a clip that's going to allow you to clip over it, lock the tweeter into the A-pillar, and keep it from sliding out. You also notice on your tweeters, you have a little 2-pin Molex connector. That Molex connector is designed to plug into the tweeter extension harness that you get with your kit. So the way that the factory system is designed with the JBL system, the signal from the amplifier runs up to the tweeter, and then from the tweeter, it actually feeds back out into the door speaker. So those two speakers share the same channel of power, but because we're giving each speaker its own channel of power, we need to break one of those speakers away. So basically what we do is we break the tweeter away. You have your harness, you run those up to the tweeters. Everything is, again, designed to just plug right in, plug it in, and you're good to go. So that's what you'll get there. It also comes with a tweeter jumper connector to plug back into that factory tweeter plug to keep the continuity in that circuit so that the door speaker still gets its power. So that's kind of a breakdown of how the speakers are set up, what you get as far as mounts and how they're designed. We took a look at the Maximals and what you get with that. When we step up over to the hybrids are going to be for that guy that says, I'm an audiophile, I want to listen to very good music. Maybe I pay for high-res music. Maybe I listen to very high-quality music. Maybe I have a really good home audio system and I want my car to get pretty close to what my house sounds like. Okay, well, then you're going to want to step up to the hybrids. You still have a 6.5-inch mid-bass driver. You do have a stronger motor, so you're going to get more mid-bass. It's going to be a smoother sounding mid-bass driver. You'll probably get a little bit more lower end extension out of these mid-bass drivers as well. Same 3D printed mount, same style with the connectors, everything there. Gaskets are all set up the same. So that mid-bass driver is just going to give you a little bit more robust mid-bass driver in your door. When we go over to the mid-ranges are going to be bigger in size. So these guys will give you a bigger mid-range. Not only do they give you a bigger mid-range, they also give you a domed mid-range. So when we look at this mid-range, and it's shaped like a dome, this to me is probably the best option for the Corolla dash location, because these guys sit straight up your dash in the corners. They are completely off axis from your ears. And what we mean when we say off axis is they're not aimed at your ears. They're pointed not away, but they're not pointed at your ears. They're completely off axis. So the dome helps give you better off axis response. So you're going to get better projection of sound with a dome mid-range than you will with a standard cone mid-range. Other benefit to this mid-range is it is a sealed mid-range. So when we look at the back, there's no opening back here. So because there's no opening back here, you don't have any energy escaping the back of the speaker. And what that means is you don't have any sound passing out of the back of the speaker that's gonna resonate or bounce around in the dash, because this fires down into the dash. You got a lot of plastic in that area. Some people may notice, oh, there's a little bit of resonance, or hear a little bit of something coming in my dash because of the energy coming out of the back of the mid-range. You do not get that with these as well. So that is another big benefit to going up to the hybrids. You do have that better mid-range. Tweeters are going to be very similar. They are silk dome tweeters, but it is a better built tweeter. It is a little bit more detailed tweeter. I think you get a little bit brighter top end out of the hybrid than you do out of the Maximals. So you like a little bit more edge to your tweeter. This will give you that little slight edge. The hybrid versus the Maximal, again, it is a more detailed sounding system. If you are that audiophile, go for the hybrids. If you just want a very good upgrade over factory, but you don't need the best thing, Maximal, hands down, would be the way to go. For rear speakers, we use the Maximal Ultra 602 coaxes. So 6.5-inch two-way coaxial. Again, same 3D printed mount, same foam gaskets, everything ready to go. Again, just unscrew your factory speaker, unplug it, plug this guy in, screw it down, and you're set. You're good to go. That's really all it is for the rear speakers. Super simple there. All right, so just a kind of quick recap over our systems. So our level 1 and our level 2, it's not really a matter of better and best. They both have similar power output. They both have basically the same sound. It's just really a matter of, do you want to be able to potentially do it in steps? Do you want to just do it all at once? Do you maybe want something that's going to be a all-in-one amplifier system and give you some flexibility to maybe change around your subwoofer down the road? So it's really a matter of what you're looking for. As far as doing it in steps, when it comes to like the level 1 you can do in steps. The level 2 you cannot do in steps. It just doesn't really work out that way. So you can do the maximal speakers as just a speaker upgrade, use your factory power, do everything that way. I would not recommend doing the hybrid as just a speaker upgrade. You're not really going to benefit from it that much. You really want to put it on that DSP amp. So maximal, you can do that first. You can do the powered sub, and then you can add the amp. These DSP amplifiers do not work with the factory speakers, so you will need that speaker upgrade in order to do the amplifiers. All right, so that is a look at our 2 different levels of complete audio system for the Corolla, GR Corolla with JBL audio. That'll be your breakdown on that there. We do not have our website set up yet, so hopefully this gives you all the information you need. If you are interested in purchasing a kit, you do have more questions, you can either drop a comment here or you can catch us on that email, info@plugandplayaudio.com, and I will help you out. I'll get you that extra info that you need. We can work together to figure out what system works best for you. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, hit us up if you got any questions, and we'll catch you in the next video.